Okay. I'll do a quick introduction. Hello, Grand Passers. Welcome to a special edition of Meet the Professionals. You might realize we're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, we're close. We're in Mason, Ohio, and we are at the Cincinnati Open. I'm here with Brian. Brian, introduce yourself.
I'm Brian Garber. I'm currently the coach of Ethan Quinn, and we are here at a Masters 1000 in main draw, so I'm very excited about that.
This is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. O-Pill is the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Let's be real, getting a birth control prescription is not always easy, and it's so much admin. In fact, about a third of women face barriers to access prescription birth control. Between scheduling appointments, missing work, class, or just trying to exist, it's a lot. But now O-Pill is putting birth control in our control. O-Pill is a daily birth control that's FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen free, and 98% effective when used as directed. Grab it online or at most major retailers, no prescription or doctor's appointment needed. So if you're thinking about birth control, check out O-Pill to see if it's right for you. Use code GIGGLY for 25% off your first month of O-Pill at OPILL.com. That's code GIGGLY at OPILL.com. Birth control in your control. We love to see it.
The NFL is back, and FanDuel's got everything you need to play your game. Whether you're all about same-game parlays,
3-leg, 4-leg, or 5-leg. I'm going 4 legs in honor of my dog, Ralph. He has 4 legs.
maybe live betting is your thing.
Wasn't so sure about the QB going in, but now his arm is speaking to me, and it's whispering, lock it in.
Or do your own thing with customized lines on FanDuel your way.
Moneyline is good, but my lines are better.
FanDuel lets you play your game any way you want. And right now, new customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus in present and select states. 18 plus in Kentucky and Wyoming. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Not sure if you have the experience to start your dream job? Good news. These days, it's the skills that count. Udemy can help you get those in-demand skills. Want to be an AI mastermind? Learn with us. Game developer? We've got you covered. AWS certified cloud practitioner? We can help you prep. You'll learn from real-world experts who love what they do so that you can love what you do. Go to udemy.com for the skills to get you started and get set for your dream job.
Awesome. Now, Meet the Professionals, I always say it's a series where we talk to people who are not tennis players but work around tennis. So you are a coach, and I want to start from the beginning. So what is your earliest memory of you were little and you were like, okay, I want to be this when I grow up?
It's funny because I always tell people I never ever wanted to be a coach, and my mom found a journal or a paper I wrote in the 8th grade saying that, and this is when I had just started playing tennis, I didn't want to grow up to be a tennis player. I wrote a full paper about wanting to become a tennis coach when I grew up.
Wait,
and
really?
I pretended that didn't exist, and my mom found it like 2 years ago and sent it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I come from a family of coaches. Like my granddad was a trainer in the NBA. My dad coached professional hockey, and you're around it from the time you're so little. And in college, I was a bang average to below average player, and ended up finding that I enjoyed helping my teammates more than I did myself. So it's kind of always been a thing for me that I fought it. I don't want to coach tennis. I worked for 1 year after college and not tennis, and I said, yeah, I think I'm going to try to coach tennis.
So, okay, we skipped ahead a little bit, but between sort of you being in denial and that is actually very awesome that your mom found this letter. It's like the subconscious knows you always wanted to be a coach, but while you were in denial, did you want to be a tennis player? Was that the goal?
Yeah, I started tennis late, and I think I realized pretty soon that I wasn't going to be good enough to play pro tennis. I was an athlete that competed hard, and I had those skills, but I I knew pretty early I wasn't good enough.
Okay.
So when I went to college to get a good education and to be a part of a team and really enjoy that. And I did both of those things. But I was well aware early on that I wasn't good enough. And I think that kind of shifted where I was like, I love sports. Sports are everything to me. They teach you every lesson in life that you would ever need to learn. They teach you how to fail. They teach you all these amazing things. And I was like, I would love for this to be a part of my life. How can I do it? And so if you're a bad player, you coach, right?
Okay. Do you think that's something that maybe sometimes some people are missing? Because do you see that a lot where maybe you see a player or anyone really trying to make it and you're almost like, you're not good enough? And do you think that's maybe something people should recognize early?
I hope not.
Okay.
I hope people have relentless optimism, to be honest with you. There are a lot of guys that I can think of a bunch in the top 100 now that I'm sure their entire lives were told that they weren't good enough. And good enough is such a different word because there's so many skills out here that win you matches, and a lot of them aren't the physical ones.
Yeah.
You know, there's people with every disadvantage can become an advantage if you make it one. So I wouldn't say that. I do think that there's a time if you're 26, 27 and it hasn't really gotten rolling yet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time.
Okay.
But no, I wouldn't tell anybody to stop it if they actually believe in themselves, because different skills get you different things, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we're past the denial. We're gonna be a coach. I love that. I'm gonna keep it. But we're gonna be a coach. What do? What are the processes of, okay, I want to be a tennis coach? Like, how do you start?
It's kind of different for everybody.
Okay.
If you were a great player, you kind of have I won't say easier path. There's no easy path. But if you were a great player, you get more opportunities early.
Okay.
Right? So for me, out of school, I was living in Boston, and I went to work at a club in Boston, and I volunteered as the assistant coach in my college. So at that club in Boston, I was working with beginners, little kids, 4 or 5-year-olds with red balls. I was working with ladies teams. I was doing that kind of stuff. And then after I showed them that I was doing okay with that, you start picking up some lessons with kids, and then you become a part of that. And I kind of started at the very, very bottom of tennis. And from there, I moved and I went to be an assistant coach in college, Division II. And I worked at a club at the same time as doing that because I wanted to be in junior development. I wanted to see how that worked. I went to an academy in Atlanta afterwards where I learned a lot of good stuff. Then I went to Everett Academy where I spent 4 years and got to work with John and Chrissy and learn a ton and have kids. You started out with the kids that weren't the best in the academy, and then all of a sudden you make a couple good players, and then you get the better ones, and you can. So it's kind of been for me, like I started from the very bottom of coaching.
Okay.
With beginners, with that kind of stuff, and it's funny because now, like, you're working with a guy who's 80 in the world, but so many of the ways that I have to solve problems are from my time with ladies teams, with beginners, with things like that, because you've seen every problem that exists, and you kind of have a multitude of ways to fix them that work for each person. So
right.
it's.
So those foundations help.
I'm so thankful that I had to do it that way, because it took me, my first pro job came when I was 29. So it took me I started at 21. So it was 8 years of doing all the levels before I got a chance at pro tennis. Kind of fell back a bit, restarted again, and then another 3-4 years before I got into men's pro tennis.
Okay.
So it's like all those steps along the way for me were so important. Like, I'm a big believer in not skipping steps. And I think that all those times of treating every level that I was coaching like it was the top, like preparing myself for this job. I tried to do that from day one.
Right.
And when I was younger, I wasn't as mature and still enjoyed my time out at night and those kind of things. But as time passed, I was like, okay, if I want to do this as a job, I don't want to work at a country club. I don't want to do those things. I want to push myself to see if I can get to this level. And so if I was working with a 13-year-old kid, I was treating that kid like a pro, because I was like, this is my dress rehearsal for the next step and the next step and the next step. So it was like, I'm so thankful for all the steps of the journey and the people I met and all the things.
Yeah. Now, so what were those steps? You go into the club and you kind of learn that. Did you know immediately, okay, I'm not going to be sort of like career club coach? And because you can, especially in the States, I feel like you can make a lot of money just being a club coach tennis player.
You make more money than we make now.
You do?
For sure.
Oh, wow.
But the opportunities that this gives you and the competition and the things like that, and
wow,
way better. Yeah, you can make a lot of money being a club coach and being a junior coach and those kind of things. It's good money to be made, and you're home all the time. So there's a lot of benefits, and a lot of people like that. And like what I'm not trying to do is trash that kind of tennis
Right.
at all. Those guys work hard. They work a lot of days, a lot of hours, and a lot of people love that style of tennis.
Right.
But for me personally, or some people love coaching college tennis and those kind of steps. I didn't love either one of those. This is what I wanted to do. And I was like, this is for me. I have buddies that coach at clubs that love it and are great at it and better at that than I am.
Right.
And so it's like, that's what's cool about the sport is there's so many ways to work in it, even just as a coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but you clearly decided that wasn't for you. What was that choice? You wanted the competition?
Yeah. And I was an assistant coach in college.
Okay.
And I had a chance to move on to a bigger school as an assistant coach. And I started thinking about that. And tennis jobs don't open very often. We're kind of low on the totem pole in the athletic department. So there's not a lot of change in head coaches. So I was like, okay, my path to becoming a head coach in college is going to take longer. And I don't think I'm going to enjoy it as much because a lot of college tennis coaching is in an office, recruiting, that kind of stuff. I don't enjoy that. My favorite thing to do is to be on the tennis court. So it's like, I learned pretty early that this is what I wanted to do, and I manifested it and told people that this was what I was going to do, even though that it was far-fetched at that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's a big... It's something that I don't do as often, but I hear that a lot. It's a big thing about telling people what you want to do.
It
you
forces
don't know
you
who
to
you're
make the choices to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been that way. I was coaching junior girls at Everett Academy, and I told all my friends that I was going to be coaching on tour pretty soon.
Right.
And I was very far from that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, that made me every day have to go and show up and do what I thought was necessary to get to that point. So it was like, I'm a big believer in that.
Right. Okay, so I'm sure there are a lot of people who maybe are watching this or, listening to the podcast who are maybe young and thinking, okay, well, I want to coach pro tennis. Like I have that competitive spirit. What are the steps? Like to if I want to coach player A tomorrow, is there a course I need to take? Is there a
That's what's tricky.
Who do I need to sign up for? Where do I go?
We're a weird sport with coaches. Most other sports have certifications and these kind of things. We have those.
Okay.
We have USPTA, PTR, that kind of stuff. Those are more to have your credentials to coach at a club. Okay. Those are knowing the basics of tennis, that kind of thing, which are really important. At this level, it's A, you are a good player that decided you want to coach.
Okay.
Or B, you go through junior development, you make a player. That's the way a lot of people get in my position, where they don't have a big name, so they have a junior player that turns pro, and that's how they get into the pro game. Outside of that, it's working at an academy where you have good players around and you do a good job and players see you and pros come in and they see the way that you work and you get an opportunity that way. And there's a couple ways to do it. None are easy. It's very hard to break through.
Yeah.
It's hard to break through and get a chance because he didn't play, so why would I listen to him, right? So it's like, for me, I've almost used it as an advantage that I wasn't a great player. It's like, I'm not a great player. I'm not going to go out there and tell you I've been on center court before, but what I do know is I've coached really hard to get to this point, right? So there's a couple ways to do it. The best thing is, a lot of people need to know if they want to do this job how not glorious it is for the long, long time. The futures and the challengers now are much better, but going to futures and those things, if you think it's going to be glorious and fun and you're going to have fans and all, no, that's not the case. You're grinding. You're doing it because you love it.
Yeah.
And you're working harder and spending more weeks away from home than you ever imagined. You're sacrificing most of your personal life for this if you want to be really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's enticing because you come to Cincinnati and you look at the facility around us and you go on a practice court and you have 1,000 people watching your practice and it's like, this is the 0.001%.
Yeah.
And the majority of pro tennis is nothing like this. And that's okay, because I enjoy those as much as these. But you have to have a little bit of a twisted brain and sickness like I do.
To do that. I mean, okay, well, speaking of that low level and challengers, let's get into actually how I met you and what you're doing now. I met you in Champaign, Illinois, at a college gym.
Yep.
Is where I met you, and there was a challenger happening there. And like you said, it is stark, and that was the very first challenger I'd ever been to, and it literally was happening on 2 courts at a college gym.
With about 20 people watching.
If we were lucky, most of them were just actually college students who just popped over.
Yep.
And were just there to see what was going on. And you were there coaching Ethan Quinn. young, up-and-coming American, doing really great now, top 80 in the world. How did that relationship start? And, let's start there first. How did that relationship start? How did you get together?
So Tommy Paul's coach, Brad Stine, is my mentor and one of the most important people in my life. He's done a lot for me. I've worked hard for him, and he's done a lot for me. I've worked with him on projects in the past. Ethan is his baby. Ethan came from Fresno from his home club. Ethan's first experience of tennis coaching came from Brad.
Okay.
When Brad was off the road and Brad had an academy at home, Ethan is one of the success stories from his academy. So he's Brad's baby. And when Ethan decided to turn pro, Brad and I had met Ethan a few times. I'd taken care of him when he came down to Boca for a few days, and we had kind of started to build a little bit of a relationship. And when he decided to turn pro after the US Open, we had kind of talked about me starting with him over the preseason. And after the US Open, Brad called me and he said, I want you to start now. And
tomorrow.
I wasn't ready for that because I was still coaching Alex Kovacevic, who's like family to me, one of my best friends, and who I had just done this whole process with. Taken from the 200s to up into the top 100, and I was really enjoying that, and Kova's like still to this day one of my best friends. Yeah. So that was a hard one, but Kova kind of understood that my joy in the job really comes from developing, and it was a big developmental project, and I was like, okay, like this is I think what I need to do next. Kova, you're pretty good right now, so that's kind of how that started. And it was really interesting to start, because I went from a kid who was basically my brother to a kid I didn't know anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like so much of my coaching is based on relationships. And I was like, okay, now I have to get this kid to trust and believe me and believe what I'm saying and what I want him to do. And I have to do it quickly.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something that takes time. So it was an interesting start.
That's part of coaching though?
The
right?
biggest part.
Yeah. Building that relationship.
Building trust, I think. It's like, if you start with somebody and you go dictator mode and tell them what to do and this is how you should do it and I'm always right, that wears out quick. And I think you start going in one ear and out the other. And I did a lot of listening with Ethan for the first few months. I wanted to hear how he communicated, what he felt when he was on the court, all of those things. I did a lot of my coaching with him at dinner and at lunch and off the tennis court. And I wanted to see how his brain worked and what made him excited and what he didn't enjoy and those things. Because once you learn that, I still think most of my coaching with him comes off the court. I'm prying and poking and doing things all the time, and he started to learn it a little bit more now.
Yeah.
But that's how you gain trust. You gain trust in somebody's morality first and the type of person they are and in their character. And I think when you can trust those things, you can really start to do work.
Yeah. Would you say, as a coach, you're more of, especially the person that you are and who you're coaching, because you're coaching someone who's young. Mm-hmm. Ethan is now, 22?
Just turned 21.
He's a baby.
I know.
And so you're coaching someone young, new to the tour. Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself as part parent? As a coach?
Yes, very much so. The good thing is Ethan's pretty mature off the court. Like, I don't have to chase him around. Like, he is a professional, almost sometimes too much.
Right.
He does all the right things on a day-to-day basis. So, like, we have no qualms with him over things like that.
Yeah.
But funny things, like, Ethan has an apartment about 10 minutes from my house at home. The things at home that I have to deal with are hilarious.
Okay.
I got home, my AC's frozen. What do I do? I'm in the Costco gas line, and it's like, how do I do this? Like, no, so I'm parent in a lot of different ways.
An older
like that.
brother?
I honestly think it's more like old brother.
Right,
yeah.
right,
and
right.
he has an older brother, Garrison, who's a great kid. But, like, I'm his brother away from home.
Right.
Yeah. So our interactions are hilarious, actually. But, like, even with my wife now, like, he's a part of our family.
Right.
Like, he texts my wife for advice all the time on all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And I have no idea that he's doing it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, it seems like, and I could interview different coaches and they'll all have different sort of takes depending on who they're coaching when. But it seems like being, I don't know if you have an experience in any other sport, but we're specifically talking about tennis here. But it seems like being a tennis coach, it's not just balls and strikes.
Yeah, and I think some people treat it that way, and that's okay. There's definitely coaches out here that they show up, they get their paycheck for the week, and they go out, they make sure you have great practices, and they make sure your tactics are good for your matches, and that's the way that they treat the job, and there's nothing wrong with that. The way I like to work is different from that. It's a family thing for me. It's relationship based. And we're lucky we have a family that extends past just Ethan and I. It's with Brad and Tommy and Kova and Damien. Kova's coach now, and like all of us are pulling for each other, helping each other out, spending time off the court together, and we've created a family feel where we have people to lean on. And this job's lonely. It's very lonely. If you treat it just as a on-court job, it's lonely. And I'm a big relationship guy, and I understand some people aren't and do a great job too. So there's two ways, like anything, there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is the way I choose, and I don't think I would take a job that I didn't think could become this way.
Okay. This is one of the last two questions I'll ask, but first, because this is also something that's interested me, you know, at some point I pretty much want to just come hang out with you guys during an off season, because tennis, as we know, is an individual sport, and from just being around it a lot, talking to tennis players, it is pretty lonely. It's individual, it's you, sometimes it's you and your coach, and then that's it. And just listening to what you guys have created between you, Tommy Paul, Kovacevic, and then the
I didn't add JJ because I work with JJ
right,
too.
And then the coaching teams. It seems like there is a support system there that there's an intersection. What is that intersection? How does it work? Is it informal? Is there formality? Do we have a name for it? I have named it.
We don't.
I named it the Compound. I would like to be invited into the Compound.
The Boca Raton Compound?
I would like to come. But what is it?
You know, it's the first time I've ever seen something like this in pro tennis.
Okay.
I don't think it's a normal thing. I think you have the top of our pyramid, which is Tommy and Brad, are the ones who kind of, when the top guy is the one who welcomes this atmosphere, it's very easy for the ones below to. Because a lot of time it's, I don't want to give this guy information, we're competing with each other, we're doing this, and the same with coaches. Between Hugo, Armando, Brad, myself, I don't think there's much of an ego involved. We all want each other to do well. Tommy wants Ethan to do well, wants JJ to do well, wants Kova to do well, we all want each other to do well, and it kind of works because they're all at little different ranking spots. I still think if they were close in ranking, it would be the same. But it's more the people than it is. It's informal. It's informal that feels formal. Like we have a group text that fires off all day. Everybody, we actually don't congratulate players when they win. We congratulate the other coach and tell them what a great job they did. Oh. And the players enjoy that too.
Yeah.
Like the second Ethan gets off the court if he won, I get a text from Hugo, Brad, Tommy, great job, Brian, and no mention of Ethan. And we do the same when Tommy wins. And it's just like, we don't take ourselves too seriously, you know? We work our butts off. We work as hard as anybody. We try our best to simplify the game for our guys and make sure that they know exactly what they're trying to do. And we do everything the right way in our eyes, but we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Right.
And I think it's a big part of it because there's a lot of people walking around here who think they're pretty awesome. And I think that we just want to be normal people that do a really good job at what we do.
Right. So, last question for me, you know, either there's a young kid out here listening to this or maybe even someone older who wants to get into coaching, loves tennis, wants to get into it. How do they start?
There's so many ways. Most cities have rec departments that are running clinics for kids that are things that are not too formal where you have to know everything. Volunteer at those. See how it goes. That's how I started. When I was in high school, I was volunteering at a thing down in the park where we had 30 kids on a court and we were running drills and I learned how to feed. And that was really important. We did that. And from there, I had a couple kids that I taught lessons to. I didn't charge very much money because I was learning too.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of ways that you can start doing that and you don't have to have been a great tennis player.
Yeah.
You have passion for the game and you love it. The amount of people that I know that work at clubs that weren't great players but are everybody's favorite coach at the club because they bust their butt, they know their stuff. Like there's a lot of ways to learn this sport that aren't from being a good player, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of ways to get into coaching, and I think anybody who wants to become a tennis coach probably has played tennis, right? So
hopefully
you already have a head start there if you've done that. And it's more willingness to learn. Like my first few years when I was at Everett, the pros all came to train there. I spent my lunch breaks every day watching the pros practice. I was listening to what their coaches were saying. I was watching what they were looking at, seeing, and I was like, if I'm at a place like this and I don't take in as much information as I can, I'm crazy. So that's my advice is, whether it's a high-level adult that's playing somewhere, watch.
Yeah.
Watch and learn.
Yeah.
Like, have your ears open, listen, take in everything you can. And you start to formulate your own opinions that are just stolen from a lot of other people, right?
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Brian, this was great. This was awesome. I really hope I can come to the compound.
You're coming.
soon.
You're welcome. Anytime. You're welcome
You
anytime.
guys seem super chill. I'm like, why
try
don't we
to
just
be.
go hang with you guys and train?
Yep.
Train.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.